Well, sure, you can never argue with stats and trophies. But the question is, how does one really quantify greatness? Especially if the player is still active and history has yet to make a final judgment of his legacy. In the year 2000, the PBA listed its 25 greatest players of all time. In 2015, they added 15 more to that list to commemorate the league's 40th anniversary. But in 2000, with the list of 25 greatest, nobody really argued with it. But in 2015, howls and eyebrows were raised. The question is, why?
April 8, 2015, the PBA reached yet another milestone, celebrating its 40th year. And to mark 4 decades, Asia's pioneer basketball league saw it fit to induct 15 more names to its 25 greatest players of all time.
They thought that what could be better than just adding to their already standing list of 25 greatest, adding 15 para mas maganda yung number at 40. So that is where the idea came about.
And just like with the first 25, the PBA formed a search committee. The panel was composed of PBA legends Robert Jaworski and Freddie Webb, PBA chairman Patrick Gregorio, and vice chairman Robert Non, PBA press corps president Barry Pascua, columnist and commentator Quinito Henson, and Cavite representative Elpidio Barzaga. The candidates profiled by the committee all played in the PBA from the year 2000 to 2015 and were screened based on the same criteria used for the first 25. The honoree should have played 5 full seasons, he must be a recipient of a major award, and must have made an impact on the sport. The new 15 was then revealed during the league's Fab at 40 celebration. In the illustrious list were former 2-time PBA MVPs Willie Miller, Danny Ildefonso, and James Yap. Former PBA MVPs Asi Taulava, Eric Menk, Jimmy Alapag, Kelly Williams, JJ Helterbrand, Mark Aguiwa, and Arwin Santos. Gilas Pilipinas mainstays Mark Pingris and Jason Castro, and retired players Chito Loizaga, Marlo Aquino, and Kirby Raimundo.
I would think Danny Ildefonso was actually the biggest name added here, being a 2-time MVP, along with James Yap. Probably the 2 most deserving to be part of that next list among the players mentioned in the next 15. Those 2 really had an impact on the game. Danny Ildefonso was probably the best big man of his generation, and James Yap revolutionized shooting in his prime.
Compared to the PBA's first 25, which was composed mostly of all Filipino greats, the new 15 included a number of Filipino-American players. Their inclusion serves as a testament to their impact and contribution to Philippine basketball.
I think it's all about the timing, because after the first 25 greatest PBA players, dun biglang dumating yung mga fil-foreigners. Asi Taulava, of course, one of them. And they really changed the game. The Philippine brand of basketball had to evolve because of the arrival of the Filipino foreigners. And kaya naman sila napasok dito is the PBA is just acknowledging also yung kanilang mga nadagdag, kanilang mga natulong sa liga. Si Taulava, Eric Menk, Jimmy Alapag, Mark Aguiwa, and JJ Helterbrand, Kelly Williams, despite the fact that they're fil-foreigners, they were legitimate MVPs of the league and they deserve to be on that list.
The new 15 list, however, had some, let's say, problems. What was supposed to be an occasion to honor Philippine basketball's best instead drew flack, raised eyebrows, and ignited controversy. Some questioned its timing and the omission of supposedly more deserving names.
I didn't see the logic of naming an extra 15 players into the list. Parang pinilit na lang. Why? I could surmise a lot of reasons. Pero siguro one of the things is that it was during Commissioner Chito Salud's time. And I believe he felt obligated that he, before he leaves the Commissioner's office, that he comes up with his own list of 15 players to be added into the list.
Well, you know, the new 15, I'm sure there was a process that went through it, but it's like the 10-point must system in boxing. It's something that you really can't explain, but I'm sure there was a lot of thought that went into it. I mean, if you look at the NBA's 50 greatest players, a lot of people were surprised that Shaquille O'Neal, entering his 5th year in the league, was already included in the 50 greatest.
Basketball historian Jay Mercado was one of the vocal critics of the PBA's new 15. At the crux of his protest was the subjective nature of the selection process and the inclusion of active players. It even left out retired players who should have been in the first 25 list.
Let's put it this way, no? Those who were named in the next 15 No, we're all great players themselves, you know. But you have to understand that there are a lot of names out there, you know, that can be selected from. It just so happened na itong 15 were selected, 10 which rather were because of the default criteria. All of them won MVP awards. So that left with 5 players. Okay? Yung 5 players na yon na hindi MVP winners, no, doon medyo nagkaroon ng controversy, I believe.
Mercado also argues that having won an MVP award doesn't necessarily equate to greatness. After all, one can have a good conference, but who knows about the rest of his career? What if that one MVP trophy was really just a fluke? Unlike retired players whose careers we could appraise from beginning, middle to end, your stories are narratives already frozen in stone.
I guess from the get-go, I do not believe in the principle of having an MVP winner getting an automatic slot in the list. In my opinion, mali na siya from the first 25 pa lang. Why? Because a player can have one great year, and that could be his MVP year, but the rest were just average years. If you include active players in the list already, what will happen is that yung mga deserving players of the past, lulubog yan sa ilalim.
It is true that winning a trophy may be at the heart of an athlete's career, but for sportscaster Noel Zarate, greatness could be defined as the player's contribution and impact on the league.
If you go back to the original 25, actually, there were also a few non-MVPs on that list, namely Jojo Lastimosa, you had Samboy Lim, Hector Calma, Jericho Diniera, Ronnie Magsanok. They all made the list. They were non-MVPs. And again, it's probably the impact that they had on the league. I would think Jericho Diniera is one of the best big men of at least his generation. And he was called the defense minister for a reason. Same thing with Ronnie Magsanok earning the title of the point laureate. Samboy Lim, of course, the Skywalker. I mean, these people had a big influence on the generation that they represented. For the next 15, I would think guys like Kirby Raimundo, Chito Loizaga, personified defense, and Mark Pingris, Jason Castro, these are non-MVPs as well that have made it to the list. But again, it is their influence on this generation. So I think there's some merit in including them in the final 15.